If you haven't got your name in this language yet, please just write in the chat and I will incorporate. We will incorporate. If you have a meaning for your name that you would like, also, please do write it in. And hey, YouTube, if you're watching this at home, write it in the comments, right? We can all get in this language. YouTube, is that you? Welcome. We are just about to jump into a little bit of world building and a little bit of conlanging about our beloved fan service language. This is the language that basically all of this community, all of our little community, has taken part in building, and everyone's name has come in as a little word. So we are going to keep building this so we can essentially meme more in it. That's the plan. So let's scoot over and let's take a look. So I have up here, I have a few things prepared. I have a little word generator according to our phonotactics. So we can augment the vocabulary if we run out of people's names. Oh yeah, that's another thing. I'll come back to the full screen to say this. If you haven't got your name in this language yet, please just write in the chat and I will incorporate. We will incorporate. And if you have a meaning for your name that you would like, also, please do write it in. And hey, YouTube, if you're watching this at home, write it in the comments, right? We can all get in this language. All right, so back here we go. So here is the absolutely spectacular geographical, climatological, geological work that our very own Majahadra has done for this world. We have 4-ish continents here, and we started to plan out where each of these languages is spoken. Yeah, this continent, Echo's right. This continent was once sort of a Pangea-like owl-shaped continent, and then it broke apart over time. So we're talking about the Biirai language here today, and I should show you where it's spoken. All right. So the Biirai language is going to be spoken in this gigantic desert here. This is what we've worked out. So there's going to be a lot of isolation from the outside world, not total, but given that the population density is going to be pretty low, we can explore kind of cool world building deserty things. Okay, so let's Echo. Thank you so much for writing that. If you want your name to be added, put that little greater than sign in so that I can see it more easily in the chat. And Max as well has got, you guys, you're thinking faster than I am over here. All right, so this is the idea. We have this amazing cool world building setup, and we're going to need to start populating it with our languages. So Biirai is going to be spoken in and around this area. So with that established, let's go back to the spreadsheet, and let's take a look at the chat, because I think we have some names coming in. We have our lexicon here. These are all the people who've been added so far. Let's see. Okay, what did I miss? We have solar. Okay, I see solar here. So deep solar, and we're going to have something like, now we should look at the phonotactics just for a second, just before we add anything in, so you know what the rules of the game are. So we have this syllable structure, this really interesting syllable structure, where we can have the syllables have an optional first consonant followed by an optional alveolar tap, and then a long vowel or diphthong. That's one type of consonant, one type of syllable. So we'd have something like, I don't know, tra, krau, this kind of thing. And the other type of syllable is the same start, optional consonant, optional tap, but then you can have either a short or a long vowel plus a coda. So you could have something like sam, or what would be another example? Mauk. We have a rather restricted inventory, so people's names get adapted in kind of fun ways. Okay. There we go. So let's return. Whoops, that's not relevant for today. And let's see. Oh, you know what? It's a bit hard to read the chat on this background. Let's open up something new just so that we can see what everyone's saying. Okay, so deep solar is going to come in as, yeah, we could do do we have an L? Let me remember. No, we don't have an L, so maybe surar would work. And oh yeah, that could mean cloudy. That'd be fun. Okay, cool. And let's see. Yeah, sisinyu could be, we could add a bit of extra here, maybe referring to Sakrat speakers. Because if we go back to the world building, if the Biirai people are in this area, the Sakrat speakers are scattered around the coasts, all of this sort of blue tropical zone here, if you can see that. So they may have some opportunity to come into contact with each other. Okay. All right. So did I miss anything? I don't think I missed anything. All right. So let's continue. I want to put in, so for those who didn't see the first stream, we essentially randomly selected the inspiration languages for this. So we took a different aspect of the language from all different languages, and these are the ones that we ended up with as our sources. And I think I'd like to revisit some of these and take some grammatical inspiration. So what do we know about the grammar so far? This is a little bit of a catch up. We have VSO order. We have obliques coming after the direct object. We have prepositions. We have noun plus genitive order. We have noun plus adjective order. We have noun plus demonstrative order. But we have numbers going before the noun. So something like 3, what would be 3 wagon those red Collins. Something like Collins 3, those three red wagons of Collins, something like this. Or not sure what the exact ordering within the right side of the noun phrase is, but something like this. Let's see, what else do we have? Noun plus relative order, no question particles, initial interrogative phrases for making questions, the subordinator, the I know that you are here, the that is going to be initial before the clause. We generally have 0 marking and very little affixation. And what will be kind of fun for us to work out today is we have a non-sex-based gender system. We have 5 or more genders. And we have a mixture of semantic and formal gender. So what does that mean? Semantic and formal. Semantic gender is when you have the criteria for what gender, class, and noun belongs to, when that criteria come from some aspect of the meaning of the noun itself. This contrasts with formal-based gender systems, where some aspect of the form of the word determines what gender it falls into. So you might have a rule saying if it ends in a particular vowel, it's going to be in this particular gender class. And what we're going to have here is a mixture of the two. What else have we decided? We have plural clitics. We have definite articles. We have an indefinite article, and we have perfective, imperfective marking, but no tense. So I think this is a good amount of stuff for us to get through. I'm going to make another one of these so we can easily just get to the second tab. There we go. All right. So lexicon here, there. We should be able to see the chat okay that way. Maybe move this a bit over. Default background for the win. Okay. Phonologically, other stuff. We have fixed initial stress. We have no tone. I saw a question come in about tonal hotspots in the world, and it looks like we have some tonal hotspots in this sort of region here. This is where mi and sasyut are spoken, and I think we actually have the unrelated tonal language Quat, which we worked on with Quain recently, is going to be spoken in this area. I think it's on this continent that we decided. In the tropical zone, nevertheless. So we have a tonal hotspot around here. I wish we had names for these places yet. It would make it a lot easier to refer to them other than me pointing the mouse and just sort of waving around saying, this general area. All right. So, yeah, Max, we have like the most unpronounceable by me names for these source languages. I wish Wikipedia had IPA on every article. Unfortunately, it doesn't. This really came to haunt me with this language, which I'm still not really clear on how to pronounce. I may, for the purposes of our, of practicality, give it Juhoan, maybe something like that. I know there are clicks involved, and they're quite complex. Anyway, all right. So I think the consensus in the chat is to work on this grammatical gender system right now, because I see people enjoying coming up with ideas. I'm excited about this. Let's do it. So we need to figure out what our gender system is going to be based on. We know that it is non-sex based, so we can rule that out right away. We know that it has some aspect of semantics and some aspect of word form being considered. I think we should work on the semantic part first and then layer on some exceptions having to do with the form of the word. I see base it on Tamil. Okay. All right, we could do that. Let's look at a resource, shall we? So let's get a new tab. No. Wikipedia. Tamil language. Let's see how the Tamil gender system works. The language doesn't have a name yet, Echo, but I've just been calling it Biirai for the time being because that's what everyone knows. Biirai means stars, weight, and also it's the second person singular pronoun. Yeah, dark Wikipedia. This is the gritty reboot of Wikipedia. All right. So let's see. We wanted to look at morphology. So I think this is what people were excited about. Tamil nouns. Is this big enough? Do I need it to be a bit bigger? Okay, there we go. Tamil nouns and pronouns are classified into two superclasses, the rational and the irrational, which include a total of 5 classes. Humans and deities are classified as rational, and all other nouns are irrational. Okay, this is really cool. The rational nouns and pronouns belong to one of 3 classes, masculine singular, feminine singular, and rational plural. All right, we'll have to change that because we've already ruled out sex-based gender systems. The irrational nouns and pronouns belong to one of 2 classes, irrational singular and irrational plural. All right, so we could have, as our first distinction, we could use something like rational versus irrational. This is good. It's a good start. And what else? Yeah. What would the Biirai people be writing on? That's a good question. We are in a hot desert in the world building map, we can see. So what do we have access to in a hot desert? Well, we might have something like papyrus if there's a river running through it at some point. Something to think about. Biirai for perfect rather than real. Ooh. Stars, wait, let's just keep stacking up more meanings onto this. Writing in sand, carving it into sandstone, ink on papyrus, that could work. Although I don't think we're thinking of a big river delta style civilization because this is an interior desert. Where is it? Here we are. So I imagine, little settlements around oases, perhaps. Something like that. Maybe an extensive trade network. I don't know. All right. So we have rational and irrational. Maybe we can use this idea of having subclasses like we have in Tamil and just change what those subclasses are. So, what could they be? Well, we could do something like what I thought Tamil was going to do, which was humans and deities are classified as rational and all other nouns, animals, objects, abstract nouns as irrational. So maybe these can be our 5 genders. Humans, deities, animals, objects, and abstract nouns. That could be the very first So those could be the first attempt at the system. But because this is a mixed formal semantic system, it's not going to be the end of the story. So you might think, as a naive student of Biirai, that the gender of a noun would be purely based on whether it actually falls into these classes or not. But this is not so. This is not so. Because there could be animals which take the deity marking for some reason. There could be objects which take the human marking for some reason. Maybe these reasons are semantic, but maybe there's something cultural going on there. But maybe it's just because it has a particular ending, and then you always give that ending to the human gender. So rather than call it the deity gender, the human gender, we could just call it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this is associated with deities. This is with humans. This is with animals. This is with objects and abstract. Okay. Given that we don't have a lot of inflection on this language, this gender system is probably going to come out in the pronoun system. So what I'm thinking, we might have some kind of elaborate, maybe not elaborate, but more elaborate than non-existent, some sort of politeness or honorification system. So if we have the first person pronoun used when speaking to someone lower on the rationality scale, realistically this would probably only, you're not often speaking to abstract objects, but there would be something like a first person pronoun that the human uses when speaking to a deity, the first person pronoun a human uses when speaking to an animal, maybe something like that. So we have a first going up, a first staying, on the level, so speaking to another person, and a first speaking to an animal. And then we would also have second. Actually, the first can't. Oh, yeah, they can. Second speaking up. So you honored one, you equal one, and you lower one. And then the third person pronouns would be third of the... This is going to be hard. Let's say A, B, C, D, E. So the third person would have an A, third person have a B, C, D, E. So this would be he, she, it of gender A. This would be he, she, it of gender B, and so on. Or he, she, it, they, because I don't think we have plural marking yet. Something like this. Bit hard to see. Let's go over here. There we go. And it would just be, and so on and so on and so on. Okay. So, what do we have so far? We have a few pronouns we've actually made decisions on. And so let's place them into this system. So we have Biirai, which is a second person pronoun. Let's say this is the second person pronoun for someone higher. So second person going up, Biirai, maybe this means perfect. The perfect one, that's etymologically where it comes from. And maybe the stars are considered perfect and that's why they have the same word. Who knows? There's some potential there though. So let's say this is the second person honorific. How are we going to make a chart? We need to make a chart here. So neutral, honorific. I don't know what we call the one that's talking down. I don't want to say dishonorific. All right. Yeah, Cicinho, I agree. Biirai as second singular could mean your perfectness. Okay. It's not particularly, it's not informal. This is a distinction. So informal, well, I guess it depends on how you consider formal. because you could be in an informal situation with a societal equal, or a formal situation with a societal equal, and those, they sort of cut across each other. Let's do super. So above, below, this is the idea. Above, across, below. That, I think, should do it. And then we have 1, 2. And then we have, for the third, we just have A, B, C, D, E. Yeah, okay. And let's start filling it in. So Biirai is 2 above. This is like, it's a bit ambiguous, because if I say 2 above, does that mean the 2 is above, like this person that you're speaking to is above you? Anyway, that's what I mean. Biirai 2 above means that the person that you're addressing with Biirai is above you in the great chain of rationality. Let's see. Chorizo says, what about ira or something being an affix for greater or more? Ooh, that's cool. So maybe this is like an augmentative. It's an augmentative. Comes from Biirai. Augmentative, or maybe like an honorific. Something like that. Like Japanese san or something like that. Ira. Ira does fit the phonotactics because the initial consonant is optional. Okay, so we have Biirai. What else do we have? We have kaurin, the second person plural form. So if we're not distinguishing between singular and plural, we could turn this into just the across form. Kaurin. So we could say 2 above, 2 across, and what else do we have? We have Satan. And I think Satan has to be 1 below. So this is what the gods would say to the to humans. This is what humans would use to say to address animals and objects. Do we have any other? No, we don't. Okay. So let us continue. So we need to create some more for these missing cells, and then we need to create some for the different genders of noun. So we need an A, a B, a C, a D, and an E. So let's see if we can generate some stuff. Let's try to do this. So I don't think we should have very long things for all of these pronouns. Maybe maximum 2 syllables. So here are some examples. We have do. I'm just write them down here. Nan, ram, rai, gaur, ak, wak, ri, bai. All right, so those are some decent ones. This is a word generator called Gengo, Gengo, and it's pretty decent. It's I don't remember exactly. I think I recommended it. I wrote an article on word generators a while back, and it was one of the ones that I looked at, and I thought, yeah, this is pretty good. This is pretty good. Okay. World building chat. What's going on? Okay, I'm catching up here. Yeah, Cicinho is saying, perhaps for first person, the pronoun changes depending on the level of the second person. That's exactly it. So if you're speaking to those you consider lower than you on the chain of rationality, the great chain of being, then you use Satan. Otherwise, you would use something else. You would use maybe the humble. We could think of these as humble, neutral, and proud. Something like that. Yeah, they could definitely write on palm leaves. If there were palms in those little oases, That's a good, like date palms, or I don't know. I'm not as well versed on the ecology of the situation, but it stands to reason, doesn't it? Okay. So I think we need to fill out our pronouns. I think what we should do is have the pronouns come from words, be somewhat recognizably derived from the word for person, animal, things like, object, deity, but be, a bit related, but a bit not. So let's see if we have anything here. Do we have person? We have person, right? Yeah, Jan. So maybe Jan is the third person pronoun as well for class B. Let's see if we have anything else. Do we have a word for deity or God? Doesn't look like it. I think we need to assign a name for the word for God. And this is going to be someone's getting the word for God on their name for deity. But who's it going to be? Let's leave it in suspense. Let's take a little break for YouTube. Come back next time, YouTube. We're going to see who among our community is getting to be the word in this language for deity. And then by extension, the source of the pronoun that is used for the deity gender A. Okay, so that's what we're going to do next time. Ba-ba-da-ba. And we will see you back here on YouTube. Yeah.